Our planet is constantly changing, and ecosystems that we know today, like rainforests and deserts, were once dramatically different, even submerged underwater. One iconic desert of today, Antarctica, is no different. Around 34 million years ago, Antarctica split from South America, giving rise to a powerful ocean current, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current. This cut Antarctica from warmer ocean waters, plunging it into isolation and locking it in a deep freeze. The frozen wasteland we know today is what is left. With temperatures dropping to a bone-chilling minus 130 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 90 degrees Celsius, Antarctica is one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. But this wasn't always the case. For over 100 million years, Antarctica was far from frozen. Dinosaurs roamed its lush landscapes, giant reptiles patrolled its seas, and long-extinct creatures, like human-sized penguins, called it home. Let's take a journey through time and explore the ancient food chain of this once vibrant ecosystem, a far cry from the icy desert we know today. For millions of years, Antarctica wasn't the frozen wasteland we know today. Instead, it was warm and humid, despite sitting near the South Pole. With high levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide and no ice caps, the land was fertile, supporting a diverse range of plant life. During the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods, towering conifers, ginkgo trees and lush ferns dominated the landscape, creating dense prehistoric jungles much like the ones we see in New Zealand today. But even in this green, thriving world, Antarctica faced one major challenge: darkness. Positioned at the South Pole, the continent experienced months of continuous daylight in the summer, followed by months of total darkness in the winter. This extreme seasonal shift impacted everything from dinosaurs and marine reptiles to the forests themselves. To survive, many plants adapted by shedding their leaves during the dark months, similar to modern trees in temperate climates. Others may have slowed their growth, waiting for the return of the sun. And because plants are the foundation of most ecosystems, the herbivores that fed on them had to adapt to these dramatic seasonal changes as well. 190 million years ago, in the frigid lands of prehistoric Antarctica, one of the earliest herbivores roamed the icy landscape: Glacialisaurus. Known as the ice lizard, this giant plant eater was part of an early group of sauropods, the distant ancestors of iconic dinosaurs like Brachiosaurus and Diplodocus. At a staggering 6 to 8 meters, or 20 to 26 feet long, Glacialisaurus was one of the largest herbivores of its time. But here's the twist. Unlike the classic four-legged sauropods, Glacialisaurus was primarily bipedal, walking on two legs. This gave it an edge, helping it reach those high tree branches to snack on the last leaves left behind, though it could still drop to all fours when needed. With its long neck and small head, Glacialisaurus was perfectly built for stripping leaves from towering prehistoric conifers and ferns. Its slow metabolism and herd behavior helped it survive Antarctica's brutal winters. The first fossils of Glacialisaurus were uncovered in the early 2000s, but it wasn't easy. Paleontologists had to brave extreme Antarctic conditions, digging through ice and rock at over 12,000 feet or 3,600 meters above sea level in freezing temperatures. But their persistence paid off. These fossils revealed one of the earliest large herbivores in Antarctica and showed that long-necked dinosaurs had already begun to dominate the prehistoric world, even in the remote southernmost regions. And yet, Glacialisaurus was just the beginning. Millions of years later, other bipedal herbivores evolved, including Morrosaurus antarctica, a member of the ornithopod group, which also included Iguanodon and its relatives. Morrosaurus had strong legs, making it a fast runner, perfect for evading predators like Imperobator, which we'll discuss shortly. Its keen eyesight helped it navigate the long, dark Antarctic winters, while primitive feathers provided extra warmth during the cold months. Despite Antarctica being much warmer than today, with temperatures averaging around 10 to 15 degrees Celsius or 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, these reptiles still needed unique adaptations to survive. Another fascinating ornithopod from this region was Trinisaura. This smaller dinosaur coexisted with Morrosaurus in the late Cretaceous forest of Antarctica. At about 1.5 meters or 5 feet long, Trinisaura was a smaller herbivore with unique adaptations of its own. Its compact size leads to theories that it may have been warm-blooded. Additionally, it likely lived in herds, helping protect one another from harsh winters and predators. But even with these strategies, life for these herbivores wasn't safe in this lush yet perilous paradise. Where herbivores roam, predators aren't far behind. And one such predator from this era is Imperobator antarcticus. Initially thought to be a raptor, recent fossil analysis reveals that Imperobator actually belongs to a different group of theropods called Paravians, which also include modern crows. This new classification suggests that, despite its fierce reputation, Imperobator likely had feathers for insulation, giving it a surprisingly fluffy appearance. But don't let that fool you. This mid-sized predator, measuring around 2 meters or 6.5 feet long, was a formidable hunter, preying on the herbivores we've just discussed. While only partial remains have been discovered, leaving many questions unanswered, Imperobator remains a fascinating mystery. Unlike the mysterious Imperobator, one of the most famous dinosaurs from Antarctica is Cryolophosaurus elioti, a larger theropod that stalked the forests of the early Jurassic, about 190 million years ago. So, what set Cryolophosaurus apart from other dinosaurs? Its most distinctive feature, a bizarre backward-swept crest that spanned side to side, earning it the quirky nickname, the Elvis dinosaur. Unlike the robust bony crests of later theropods, the crest of Cryolophosaurus was thin and delicate, hinting that it was used more for display than defense. It may have served as a way to attract mates or intimidate rivals, but there's more to this dinosaur than just its rock star look. Like Imperobator, it also had feathers, likely for insulation and possibly for display. Though it may have resembled a prehistoric bird with a flair for drama, Cryolophosaurus was an apex predator. Measuring up to 6 to 7 meters, around 20 to 23 feet long, it was one of the largest known theropods of the early Jurassic, earning it a position as the Antarctic equivalent of a T-Rex. As the apex predator of its ecosystem, Cryolophosaurus likely hunted large herbivores like Glacialisaurus or scavenged when food became scarce. If you're enjoying this video, please may we ask you to consider liking this video to let us know, commenting what you'd like to see next, and subscribing to join future journeys. We'd love to have you join us, and don't forget to stay tuned for the human-sized penguins coming up. Now, we've saved one herbivore until later because this animal was a bit of a tank. Antarctopelta was a heavily armored ankylosaur and holds the distinction of being the first dinosaur ever discovered in Antarctica. Fossils of this fascinating creature were uncovered on James Ross Island in 1986. Like other ankylosaurs, Antarctopelta sported bony plates called osteoderms that shielded its body from predators, including the formidable Imperobator. Its trademark feature was a clubbed tail, likely used as a powerful weapon against attackers. While its tail wasn't quite as fierce as some of its northern relatives, it still packed enough of a punch to put up a strong defense. Measuring between 4 to 6 meters or 13 to 20 feet long and backed by its tough defensive body plan, Antarctopelta would have been a tough target for any predator. However, Imperobator could still have preyed on weakened or juvenile individuals, though it might have suffered some injuries in the process. One animal that survived the mass extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs evolved about 60 million years ago during the Paleocene, not long after the cataclysmic event reshaped life on Earth. One of the most fascinating discoveries from prehistoric Antarctica is Crossvallia, a giant penguin that stood about 1.6 meters or 5.2 feet tall and weighed around 80 kilograms or 170 pounds, making it one of the largest penguins ever known. To put this in perspective, modern emperor penguins stand at about 1.2 meters or 4 feet and weigh less than half that amount. But Crossvallia wasn't your typical penguin. Unlike today's waddling birds, it was likely a much more proficient swimmer, as its leg bones suggest it was highly adapted for life in the water. Another prehistoric giant, Paleeudyptes, lived later during the Eocene, about 40 million years ago. Slightly smaller at around 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet, it still rivaled the size of today's largest penguins. Fossils show that early penguins were far more diverse in size and adaptation than the species we know today. These towering seabirds would have been apex predators, dominating the warm, fish-rich oceans of their time. Together, Crossvallia and Paleeudyptes paint a picture of a time when Antarctica was a penguin paradise, teeming with massive seabirds before the continent froze over. It's a good thing they evolved when they did. If they'd coexisted with the dinosaurs, their lives would have been filled with nightmares. Now we've covered the land, but what about Antarctica's prehistoric seas? During the late Cretaceous period, plesiosaurs and mosasaurs ruled the warm seas. Plesiosaurs weren't dinosaurs. They were large marine reptiles with long necks and 4 powerful flippers for swimming. One of the most unusual plesiosaurs was discovered in the icy waters of Antarctica. At first glance, Morturneria appeared to be just another elasmosaurs, the long-necked branch of plesiosaurs. But a closer look at its skull and teeth revealed something unexpected. While most plesiosaurs had sharp conical teeth for grabbing slippery prey, Morturneria's teeth were curved and interlocked, forming a natural filter system. This suggests that Morturneria wasn't chasing large prey. Instead, it may have sifted through the water or soft sea floor, trapping tiny organisms like krill, shrimp, or amphipods. In short, Morturneria wasn't a brutal predator. It was a filter feeder, much like a baleen whale of today. Meanwhile, mosasaurs, often called the T-Rex of the ocean, prowled the seas. Unlike plesiosaurs, mosasaurs had powerful tails for propulsion, enabling them to swim with the speed and efficiency of modern sharks. Some species like Mosasaurus and Tylosaurus could reach impressive lengths of up to 15 meters or 50 feet. Fossil evidence from Antarctica suggests that mosasaurs thrived in the cold polar waters, preying on fish, squid, and even other marine reptiles. With no large land predators to challenge them, they dominated the Antarctic seas until their extinction at the end of the Cretaceous, alongside the dinosaurs. While plesiosaurs and mosasaurs dominated the open ocean, Dryosaurids, a group of crocodile-like reptiles, inhabited the rivers and coastlines of prehistoric Antarctica. Unlike modern crocodiles, which thrive in warm climates, Dryosaurids were likely adapted to cooler waters, making them some of the most cold-resistant crocodilians in history. They had long, narrow snouts and were strong swimmers, well equipped to catch fish in both freshwater and coastal marine environments. Though they weren't as massive as mosasaurs, Dryosaurids were still formidable predators, lurking in the shadows of ancient rivers and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. That was until a giant meteor fell out of the sky and ended the reign of the dinosaurs. 35 million years later, Antarctica froze over and became what we know today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.